I just want to start this by saying that Crystal Palace did an absolutely brilliant job of beating Liverpool. I thought they were defensively very resolute. Yes, they gave up a couple of chances, but you need to ride your luck, and sometimes you've earned your luck in certain matches. I thought that Adam Morton and Will Hughes were brilliant, especially Adam Morton, who at 20 years of age put in a proper performance. 8 out of his 10 grand duels were won, and that's really, really impressive. He was a backbone for this Crystal Palace side with Will Hughes, allowing them to spring off whenever they needed to. But don't get me wrong, there is a more systematic issue with this Liverpool setup at Anfield in particular, and I think it comes down to a real systematic setup from the opposition. The way they tactically look at the way that Liverpool have their frailties, I do think there is an exploit here. And to really hone on to this and better explain it, we need to look at the game that they played against Atalanta, because Liverpool have lost now twice in a matter of 4 days. And this is the reason, I believe, or at least one of the major reasons. If you look at both Crystal Palace and Atalanta, there is a similarity between the two. They play 3 at the back, both of them, and they also play 4 in midfield. Now, the 4 in midfield is what I really want to focus on. The 2 wing-backs on either side are really utilising the space that's on Liverpool's flanks, and I think they're exploiting the fact that Mohamed Salah and Luis Diaz aren't necessarily defensive-minded players. And if you actually look at the attacking or average positions of Crystal Palace, they've actually shifted over more or less to this left-hand side, really going down this Liverpool left, and it's actually where the goal came from for Crystal Palace, really isolating Conor Bradley, but also isolating the space that is left by Mohamed Salah, who does not track back. If we actually look at Mohamed Salah's heat map, we can see that he doesn't go back all too much. If we look at this, he's barely here. And yes, you could argue that Crystal Palace don't have too many attacks, but generally, we know that Salah is not one of the most defensive-minded players. Couple that with the fact that Alexis McAllister isn't exactly defensive-minded. Wataru Endo is the only major defensive pin in this Liverpool midfield. Curtis Jones doesn't really either. And it just means the flanks are that little bit more just free. They're a little bit more vacant. Conor Bradley is only a young defender, and he'll be learning from this experience, but he's not going to have the years under his belt that an Andy Robertson or even a Trent Alexander-Arnold would. And it's this width of play that I think is really starting to hurt Liverpool, obviously, as they've lost twice in 4 matches. The utilisation of Tyrick Mitchell is something that's really impressive. Look how high he gets up on this pitch, making sure that he's an outlet for Crystal Palace, but at the same time allowing Eberechi Eze and Michael Olise to really cut infield and make sure that they're closer to Jean-Philippe Mateta. It's through this that allows Crystal Palace to build up attacks through the wings and then come inside, exactly the way that Atalanta did against Liverpool in the Europa League. It's through the wide areas that I think Liverpool are extremely frail on. And it's an exploit that I've been seeing at Anfield through these last 2 matches, something that they're going to need to fix if they're going to want to improve later on. Let's take a look at the goal, because I think that'll further illustrate to you what I'm talking about. So this is in the build-up to the Crystal Palace goal, the only goal that was scored in the entire match. And I just want to highlight the amount of space, first of all, that Adam Morton has to be able to turn and make sure that he can play off a pass. Now, we need to remember where we are. We're currently at Anfield, and we're currently playing against a Liverpool side who are going for the title. So in this particular instance, why is no one being extremely aggressive towards him? It takes Alexis McAllister a good couple of seconds before he's able to realise something's going on and then try to press. Mo Salah is already behind the play, if we can see here. Tyrick Mitchell is currently going to spin in beyond and really pull Conor Bradley back. Endo is currently occupying a player. Curtis Jones is on the move, but it's really close to the Liverpool goal. And I just wonder whether a little bit more aggressiveness could be seen. Remember, this is around about the 13th or 14th minute, so it's not like they're extremely tired. I just think the utilisation of this system has really pulled Liverpool apart, and the width of the way that Crystal Palace play makes sure that the lines are just a little bit more spread. If we move it on, we can see that Adam Morton plays a 1-2 with Eberechi Eze, who's then going to play it back. But one thing that's happening in the background here is what I mentioned previously, and it's the run of Tyrick Mitchell that pulls the likes of Conor Bradley away. And it's through this that causes the line of offside to drift that little bit deeper, allowing Eberechi Eze to still be onside. If we forward it over a little bit more, we can see that Curtis Jones is trying to get touch tight. He's trying to intercept the ball. He fails to do so, and the ball comes back to Adam Morton, who then realises there is a touch of space out here. And it's this touch of space that I think is extremely important, because what this ends up doing is allowing acres of space for Crystal Palace to then go down the Liverpool left-hand side. And it's through this that they start to exploit the space. Tyreek Mitchell now realises that with a player in a more attacking position, there is room down this left-hand side. Conor Bradley does not occupy or stop the space or block the space, and Konate is not in a position to be able to cover it either. This means that Liverpool are in a very vulnerable position, but I don't think they're doing enough about it to make sure that they can capitalise on any kind of Crystal Palace mistake. They're almost hoping that nothing goes wrong. And then I want to focus on another thing, and that's the positioning of Eberechi Eze. Now, one player can really see this happening, or two players can really see this happening, and that is Luis Diaz and it's Darwin Núñez. Now, neither of them really do highlight the amount of space that Eberechi Eze has in this pitch. Look at him. There's no one near him. He is the danger man for me. He is the person you really need to be looking towards. And when this ball gets played down the line, I am flabbergasted by the lack of real awareness as to where the danger men are for Liverpool. If we forward it on a little bit more, Tyreek Mitchell is then going to receive that through ball down this Liverpool Liverpool right-hand side, the Crystal Palace left-hand side. And again, I just want to make sure that we understand this. Look at the amount of space that Eberechi Eze has. Luis Diaz needs to see this danger and sprint and try to stop that. He has to. He's the only person that is currently capable of stopping this. Konate is currently blocking the front post, Van Dijk is being marked, and so is Andy Robertson. Endo is currently trying to block the cross here because it's bypassed two Liverpool players. It needs to be from Luis Diaz. The defensive awareness needs to be better. And then this is the worst one for me. Again, he's in your penalty area. Look at the space. We talk about Manchester United being extremely vulnerable from cutbacks, but this is the second time in 4 days that I've seen Liverpool being exposed from wide areas coming inside. And it really does make a difference if you're not technically switched on. The ball gets played through to Eberechi Eze, who is in acres of space. Remember, this is the 14th minute. So it's not like Liverpool players are tired. This is a tactical setup, a systematic problem that is being caused by Crystal Palace's setup, and it needs to be fixed. Eberechi Eze finishes with a treat, and it becomes 1-0 to Crystal Palace. But it's through the system and the setup from Crystal Palace that caused Liverpool so many problems in the beginning.